Hey everyone, welcome to Reality TV News Update, the place where you never miss a moment from your favorite shows. Ozzy Lust, Benjamin Coach Wade, Stephanie LaGrossa Kendrick, Chrissy Hoffbeck, Aubrey Bracco, and Joe Hunter all have one thing in common. They have all appeared before a jury on Survivor at least once, and in season 50, they have a real chance of doing so again. Making it to the final tribal council once is a Survivor career-defining achievement. Doing it twice, especially on the most competitive returnee season in the show's 25-year history, would be something else entirely. The Blood Moon merge is now behind the tribe, and the individual game is officially underway. Here's a look at which of these 6 players has the game to pull it off. The old-school veterans with unfinished business. Ozzy Lust has played Survivor 5 times and has only made it to a final tribal council once. On season 13, Survivor Cook Islands, Lust finished in 2nd place with a 5-4-0 vote. He has already gotten through the early chaos in season 50, gained an advantage at the merge, and completely avoided the Blood Moon twist by going to Exile Island. Ozzy could shake his reputation as an unbeatable jury threat and lean into the social bonds he's been quietly building. A final tribal council appearance has never been more realistic in his entire Survivor career. Benjamin Coach Wade has been one of season 50's most genuinely surprising stories. Coach has reinvented himself as the Tidewalker rather than the self-mythologizing Dragon Slayer. He made it to the final tribal council on season 23, Survivor South Pacific, where he finished as runner-up. In season 50, his stronger relationships and more flexible strategic thinking have kept him in a solid position deep into the merge. Stephanie LaGrossa Kendrick has been quietly reminding everyone why she is one of the most respected players in the history of the game. If he keeps adjusting to the pace of the new era around him, a second final tribal council run is absolutely within reach. Stephanie, a runner-up on season 11 of Survivor Guatemala, obtained individual immunity during the Blood Moon twist and has established genuine connections across eras, providing her with a credible path to the end. She's dangerous precisely because people keep underestimating her. The new era threats rewriting their Survivor stories. Chrissy Hoffbeck reached the final tribal council on season 35, Survivor Heroes vs. Hustlers, without ever seeing her flame go out. She will continue her streak of victories into the season 50 merge. A proven challenge performer and a patient, under-the-radar strategist, Chrissy has positioned herself perfectly in a field full of louder, more visible threats. Aubrey Bracco is a runner-up, a 3-time Claire, and one of the sharpest strategic minds still in the game. She first reached the final tribal council on season 32, Survivor Cow Wrong, where she finished as 2nd place. She is avoiding targets at every opportunity and has already taken risky actions when it matters most. A second final tribal council appearance would be the defining Survivor moment this fanbase has waited years to see. Joe Hunter has never had his torch snuffed across 2 seasons of Survivor, a remarkable stat in a cast this cutthroat. He reached final tribal council on Survivor 48 and now enters season 50 with that same clean record intact. Likeable, loyal, and consistently underestimated, Joe has built the kind of authentic relationships that win jury votes. If he makes it to a second final tribal council, don't be surprised if he wins the whole thing. The torches burned lower than usual that night, their flames flickering in the heavy island air as if they too were uncertain. Season 50 of Survivor was never supposed to be predictable, but no one expected this. 10 returning players sat across from the jury, their faces carved by exhaustion, strategy, and regret. At a previous final tribal council, every one of them had sat in this exact spot to make their case. A few had won, some had failed, all had unfinished business. And suddenly, they were back. Impossible to believe. Mara had long ago realized that silence can speak louder than words. The first time she made it to the end, she talked too much, over-explaining every move, every betrayal. The jury had torn her apart. This time, she remained silent. She simply watched. Across the fire, Levin leaned forward, fingers laced together, already calculating his speech. He had lost by a single vote in his original season, a mistake that haunted him every day since. He promised himself that if he ever made it back, he'd dominate from start to finish. He had done exactly that. However, dominance came at a price. Lila shifted uncomfortably next to him. Her game had been subtle. Too subtle, some would say. She slipped through alliances, whispered at the right moments, and let others take the fall. No one had targeted her because no one had fully seen her. Up until now. The host stepped forward, voice calm but electric. Tonight, one of you will become the first player in history to reach and win a second final tribal council. But first, the jury has questions. The first juror stood. Caleb, sharp, unobtrusive, and still clearly bitter. "Devin," he said, not even glancing at the others, "you played the biggest game out here, but you burned everyone. Why do you deserve to win again?" Devin did not pause. "Because I owned it this time." A murmur rippled through the jury. "The first time I played, I tried to be everyone's friend. I made moves but hid behind them. This time, I made sure you all knew it. I was at the center of every vote, blindside, and betrayal. You are not required to like it, but you can't ignore it." Caleb smirked. "Oh, we don't ignore it. We remember it." He sat down. Next came Arya, her expression unreadable. She said softly, "Mara, you couldn't convince us you were in control the last time. This time, you barely spoke all season. So tell me, what did you do?" Finally, Mara leaned forward. "I waited," she said simply. Arya frowned. "That's it?" "No," Mara replied. "I chose when to stop waiting." She gestured toward Devin. "Everyone perceived him as a threat when he began to assume control. That gave me some room. I built relationships quietly. Who trusted me and who didn't was clear to me. And when it mattered most," she paused, letting the silence stretch, "I made the move that got me here." A few jurors exchanged glances. That action, the blindside that had shocked everyone, the one no one could fully trace. Until now. Lila's turn arrived earlier than she anticipated. "Lila," said Jordan from the jury, "I don't even know what your game was. Convince me." Lila swallowed, then straightened. "My game," she said, "was survival." Jordan scoffed. "That is the game of everyone." "Not like mine," Lila shot back, surprising herself. "I was on the bottom from day 3. Every alliance I joined saw me as expendable, so I adapted. I listened more than I spoke. I let people underestimate me." She took a breath. "And every time someone said, 'We can get rid of Lila later,' I made sure there was no later." The jury leaned in. "I didn't control the game," she admitted, "but I was in charge of where I fit in it, and somehow that was enough." The questions continued, sharper and more personal. Old wounds reopened. Again, old alliances fell apart. Devin's confidence began to crack under the weight of resentment. Mara's tactic of keeping quiet sparked suspicion. Was she brilliant or just fortunate? And Lila evolved into the mystery child that no one could quite determine. As the night wore on, it became clear. This wasn't just about gameplay. It was about redemption. The host stood once more. At last. "It's time to vote." One by one, the jurors stepped forward, each carrying not just a pen, but the weight of their own experience. Some having lost at this very stage, others having won and knowing exactly what it took. Caleb voted first. He whispered, "I'd vote differently if this were my first time, but it isn't." Arya followed. "I respect evolution," she murmured. Before casting his vote, Jordan hesitated. He said,
Sometimes the best game is the one you don't see coming. Have the votes been cast? The urn was sealed. The finalists sat silently as the torches around them flickered. Devin replayed every action and betrayal as he stared into the fire. Had he gone too far? Mara remained still, her expression unreadable. She had carried out all her prearranged actions, but had she said enough? Lila closed her eyes briefly, letting the moment settle. She hadn't expected to get this far again. Maybe that was her strength all along. The host returned with the urn. I'll go over the votes. Devin got the first vote, Mara the second, the third, Lila. A tie. Mara the fourth, the fifth, Devin. The sixth, Lila. Another tie. The tension was unbearable now.
The waves crashed harder on day one than anyone expected, as if the island itself rejected the idea of legends returning. Survivor's 50th season was more than just another all-star event. It was a reckoning. Every player who entered that beach had already encountered the fire once. They had argued their case at a final tribal council. They had experienced both the sting of defeat and the glory of victory. They were now back, pursuing something even more difficult, showing that it wasn't luck. Marcus muttered, "Round two," as he jumped from the boat into waist-deep water. "Let's see who deserves it." Tessa rolled her eyes at him. "Or whoever has luck again." Marcus laughed. "You don't make it to the end twice by luck." "Watch me," Tessa shot back. Already the tension was alive. The tribe hit the beach running, literally. Supplies were limited, and old instincts kicked in fast. Alliances, shelter, and wood. But unlike rookie seasons, no one wasted time pretending. They all knew the game. Most importantly, they were acquainted. Ethan, a former winner known for his charm, quickly gathered a small group. "We've all played big games before," he said calmly. "That's precisely why we need to play small, at least for the time being." Rena kept a close eye on him from across the beach. She had lost her season by one vote, largely because she trusted someone like Ethan too much. "Not again," she whispered. By day 3, alliances had formed, but they were fragile, like glass under pressure. Marcus aligned with Tessa despite their rocky start. He stated, "We both play aggressive. Better to work together than take each other out early." Tessa gave a nod. "Temporary," she said bluntly. "Of course." Nearby, Rena joined forces with Leo, a quiet strategist who had once made it to the end without ever receiving a vote against him. "You're dangerous," Rena told him. Leo shrugged. "You are also." She replied, "Good, then we get to know each other." The first tribal council was quick to come. Instantly, old reputations became targets. Ethan's name came up almost instantly. "He's already won," Marcus argued. "If we let him get far, he'll do it again." "But he's a shield," Tessa countered. "People will go after him before us." Rena listened while remaining silent. When the votes were read, Ethan's torch was snuffed, first out. As he walked away, he smiled faintly. "Same mistake," he said. "You're playing too hard, too early." His words lingered. Days turned into weeks. The game evolved. Marcus stayed aggressive, orchestrating blindsides and controlling votes, but each move painted a bigger target on his back. Tessa adapted, pulling back just enough to stay under the radar while still influencing decisions. Rena played a careful middle game, building trust across alliances without fully committing to any. And Leo disappeared. Not literally, but strategically. He spoke less, moved quietly, and let others take credit for moves he helped shape. "Where does he fit in all of this?" one player whispered after a tribal council. Rena thought, exactly. At the merge, chaos erupted. Old alliances shattered. New ones formed overnight. Marcus tried to get control. "We need a solid 5, he insisted. No turning. However, flipping was unavoidable. Tessa blindsided Marcus at the first merge vote. His torch flickered out, his expression a mix of shock and respect. He complimented her on her move. "But now you're me." She knew he was right. With Marcus gone, the power vacuum was immediate. Tessa became the biggest threat overnight.
Rena saw it clearly. If she gets to the end, she wins, she told Leo. Leo nodded. Then she can't get there. Rena continued, but we don't take her out yet. We need her as a shield. Leo smiled slightly. You're growing. Rena raised an eyebrow. You are also. The game became more mental as the number of players decreased. Every conversation was important. Every glance meant something. Tessa fought to stay ahead, winning immunities and scrambling strategically, but the pressure showed. You're playing scared, Rena told her one night. I'm playing to win, Tessa snapped. There's a distinction. The most significant move of the season was made in the final 6. Everyone, including Tessa, was stunned when Rena and Leo orchestrated a blindside that was both precise and unexpected. She entered Tribal with confidence. She left without her torch. As she passed Rena, she whispered, Finish it. Rena nodded. Final 5. Final 4. Fire-making. Leo won immunity and made a shocking decision. I'm giving it up, he announced. Gasps echoed. I'm taking Rena to fire. Why? She asked, genuinely stunned. Because if I beat you, he said quietly, no one can say I didn't earn it. The fire challenge was brutal. Sparks erupted. Hands trembled. But in the end, Rena's flame rose first. Leo's torch was snuffed. You earned it, he said, smiling as he left. Final Tribal Council. Rena sat between 2 players she had outmaneuvered, outlasted, and outplayed. The jury didn't hold back. You played both sides, one juror accused. Yes, Rena said, because I didn't stand for either side. I was on mine. You got lucky, another argued. She calmly replied, No, I recovered. When the votes were read, it wasn't close. Rena won. As the torches dimmed and the season came to an end, one truth stood out. Making it to a final Tribal Council once was impressive. However, repeating it against players who were equally skilled and hungry, that required something else. Adaptation, awareness, and the courage to change your game completely. Because in Survivor 50, the question was never just who could make it to the end again. It was who could prove they deserved it twice.